Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos to each of you. To all those who are here in our sanctuary this morning, and to all those watching via live stream. At this moment, we bestow gratitude for our day of rest, our holy Sabbath, a day that we invite peace and rest to shelter us, to join us wherever we may be, and to make a separation from all that may have occurred throughout the week. Shabbat is a time that creates space for new beginnings, welcome into our world new possibilities. And so today we welcome Sierra, as she is called to the Torah as Bat Mitzvah. We acknowledge the tremendous journey that Sierra has taken on and her journey that has led her to this very special moment in time. Our service begins as Rabbi Scott leads us in our opening song.
We begin our service this Shabbat morning with the singing of Tov Lehodot, which comes from Psalm 92.
Tov Lehodot Ladonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Tov Lehodot Ladonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. On this the day of days, my lips shall sing your praise, for I know that you'll always be here surrounding me. Tov Lehodot Ladonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Tov Lehodot Ladonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. My spirit takes release, I close my eyes in peace, and from my soul heard far above springs a song of love. Tov Lehodot Ladonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Tov Lehodot Ladonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon.
Our service continues on the bottom of page 81.
Religion embraces both faith and action. The primary quality is action, for it lays the foundation for faith. The more we do good, the more readily do we grasp the meaning of duty and life, and the more readily do we believe in the divine from which stems the good. Please turn to page 108 for our call to worship, Baruch Hu. Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, yotzer or uvarei choshe, osei shalom uvarei et hakol, ha'me'ir la'aretz v'ladarim alaha barachamim, uv tuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, ma'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Tit barach Adonai Eloheinu, all shavach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yefa'arucha selah, or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizke chulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot. We continue on page 112. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us, by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah, focus our minds on your mitzvot, unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Together, gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael ba'ahava. Page 114.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Page 116. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am Beshivtecha b'veitecha, uvchletecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'chayu letotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tiskeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kadoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We read together in the middle of the page. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Please turn to page 121. We read responsively. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war any more.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Mi chamocha ha'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedor b'kodesh, Torah tehilot osef elel, shira chadasha shiva gemulim, לשמחה שפת
Israel, and redeem Judah and Israel as you promised. Our Redeemer, Adonai Tsevaot, is your name. Blessed are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. We continue now with our tefillah on pages 124, 126, and 128. Please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'Neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia Umagin. Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atagi Bor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Lehoshia. Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Baal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid, Mechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chachayot HaKol. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. We read together in the middle of the page. You are forever mighty, Adonai, you give life to all. You sustain life through love, giving life to all, through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up, and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Page 130.
Nekadish et shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto bishmei marom, Kakatuv al yad neviecha, V'kara zel ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Velo chol haaretz, Kevodo. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir, Shemacha b'chol haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mikomo. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu v'Hu Yashvienu, B'rachamav le'nei kol chayim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagid golecha, Ulenetzach nesachim kedushat hanakdish, V'shivracha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush, Leolam vahen. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Please be seated. Page 132.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, המקדשי שביעי, כולם ישמחו וידעו מטובך. בהשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו, חמדת ימים אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית. בהשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו, חמדת ימים אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית.
Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For, being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. We continue reading together on page 134. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel who sanctifies your name rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Page 136. Find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your Spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Page 138. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yishenu, ata hu l'dor vador. Nodeh lecha unsaper tehilatecha. Al chayenu hamsurim be'adecha, v'al nishmotenu hapkudot lach, v'al nisecha shebchol yom imanu, v'al niflaotecha v'tovotecha, shebchol et erev, bavoker v'tzo harayim. Hatov ki lo chalu rachamecha v'hamrachim. Ki lo tamu chasadecha me'olam kivinu lach. Ba'al kulam yitbarach v'yitromam, shimcha malkenu tamid le'olam va'ed. B'chol ha'chayim yoducha sela, v'halalu et shimcha be'emet, ha'el yeshuatenu ve'ezratenu sela. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh lehodot. We read together in the middle of the page. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Page 140. Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together, through the light of your presence. Truly, through the light of your presence, Adonai, our God, you gave us a Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
Sim, shalom, sim, shalom, sim, shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, shalom, sim, shalom, sim, shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Sim, shalom, shalom, sim, shalom, tova uveracha.
We pray silently.
Say shalom bimromav, Huya say shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael bimru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, Huya say shalom. Israel v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom,
In our prayer book, we turn now to page 244 as we prepare for the reading of Torah. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai v'ein kama'asecha malchutcha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz emo yiten, Adonai varech et amo v'ashalom. There is none like you among the gods, Adonai, and there are no deeds like yours. You are sovereign over all worlds, and your dominion is in all generations. Adonai reigns, Adonai has reigned. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people with peace. And now it's a privilege to open the doors of the Holy Ark in honor of Carl and Lindsay Little, and to undress the Torah in a moment in honor of Thomas and Linda Little. And now as we turn to page 248, we rise. Havogod el Eloheinu, nuchavo la Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah. Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Israel b'kedushato. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. Galul Adonai iti unerom ema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula hagevura hehatiferet hehanetzach bechahon. Ki chol bashamayim uvaretz. Ki chol bashamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha. Lehamidnasei lechol erosh.
This Shabbat morning, our Torah reading comes from the book of Genesis in the portion called Vayechi, beginning in chapter 48, verse 8. It's a privilege now to call to the Torah to recite the blessings as we give thanks to God for its gifts, Neil and Janelle Little, and in honor of Tom Hirsch, Alona Hirsch, Peter, and Marissa Griffin.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Vayar Yisrael et bnei Yosef, Vayomer mi eleh, Vayomer Yosef el aviv, Banai heim, asher natan li Elohim bazeh, Vayomar, kachem na elai, va'avorachem, ve'enei Yisrael, kovedu mizoken, lo yuchol lirot, vayagesh otam elav, vayishak lahem, vaychabek lahem, vayomer Yisrael el Yosef, re'o fanecha, lo filalti, vehine hera oti, Elohim gamitzar echa, vayotze Yosef otam me'im birkav, vayishtachu la'apav arza, vayikach Yosef et shenehem et Ephraim bimino, misimo Yisrael et Menashe vismolo, mimin Yisrael, vayagesh elav.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'haye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ta'amod Sapira Malka Bat Noam Ve'elka Yocheved Aliyah La Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach,
Baruch Adonai hamarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamivorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Vayishlach Yisrael et yamino, vayashet al rosh Ephraim, vehu hatzair, ve'et simolo al rosh Menashe, sikel et yadav, ki Menashe habachor, vayvarech et Yosef, vayomer ha-Elohim, asher hithalechu avotai lefanav, Avraham v'Yitzchak, ha-Elohim haro'eh oti, me'odi ad hayom hazeh, hamoach hagoel oti mikora, yivarech et hana'arim, vayikareh vahem shemi, v'shem avotai Avraham v'Yitzchak, vayitgu la'rov bekerev ha'aretz, vayar Yosef ki ashit aviv, yad yamino al rosh Ephraim, vayera be'enav, vayitmoch yad aviv, lihasir ota me'al rosh Ephraim, al rosh Menashe. Vayomer Yosef el aviv, lochein avi, ki zeh habachor, sim yaminacha al rosho, v'ma'ein aviv, vayomer yedati veni, yedati gam hu yela'am, v'gam hu yigdol ve'ulam, achiv hakaton yigdal mimenu, bezar'o yemelo hagoyim, vayvarchem bayom hahu, lemor bechad Yivarech Yisrael Lemor Yasimecha Elohim Ke'Ephraim V'chi Menashe Vayasem et Ephraim Lifnei Menashe Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata petochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Chazak chazak v'nit chazik.
We dress the Torah now in honor of Martha Malka and Scott Weinberg.
Our Haftarah comes from 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'neviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nevi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayikravu Yemei David lamut Baitzav et Shalomo beno lemor Anochi holech bederech kol haaretz v'chazakta v'hayita leish v'shemarta et mishmeret Adonai Elohecha lalechet b'drachav lishmor hukotav mitzvotav umishpartav ve'edotav kakatuv b'torat Moshe leman taskil eit kol asher ta'aseh ve'eit kol asher tifneh sham. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik bechol chadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem she'kol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'nevi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenetata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limenucha lechavod u'latif aret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevarachim otach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
my Torah portion, Vayechi, is from the book of Genesis. To explain my Torah portion, we need to go back a few chapters. Abraham had one son, Isaac, who had twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Jacob was their mother Rebekah's favorite because she saw qualities in him that would serve the family, while Isaac favored Esau because he was the firstborn. The brothers rarely agreed on anything. Esau often acted foolishly, once even trading his birthright, which is the oldest child's fortune, for a bowl of stew. Later in their lives, Jacob dressed in his brother's clothes at his mother's request to get blessings from their father. As a result of the parents' preferences and non-communication, Esau left home and did not speak to his brother for many years. Eventually, the brothers made up, but there were many hardships, all because of this act of favoritism. Fast forward many years to my Torah portion. Jacob now has 12 sons, his favorite being Joseph, his 11th son. Jacob is growing old and needs to bless Joseph's children, Ephraim and Manasseh. Instead of blessing the older son with his right hand, Jacob crosses his arms so that his right hand is on Ephraim, the younger child. While this may not seem important nowadays, this was a very big deal back then. Having someone's right hand placed on your head was a sign of honor, and people took it very seriously. Joseph tried to correct his father, but Jacob was insistent that this was the right way to do it. And so he blessed his grandchildren that day, saying, "May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." And by placing his right hand on Ephraim's head, he honored the younger son more than the older one. From this Torah portion, we learn that favoritism has both positive and negative aspects. Although he may not have explained himself well, Jacob chose to focus on the individual strengths of the children instead of birth order, giving the right person the perfect job. On the negative side, the parents of Jacob and Esau showed favoritism, which ended up separating the brothers for a long time. And finally, Jacob placed Ephraim ahead of Manasseh, most likely starting a rocky relationship between the two. Jewish tradition teaches us that there is often more harm than good that comes out of placing one person above another. It happens time and time again in our stories with Jacob, Esau, Joseph, and now Ephraim and Manasseh, and it usually doesn't lead to good things. As I am not the youngest, I cannot speak for Ephraim. However, I do know what it is like being the oldest, and sometimes feeling jealous because my younger siblings seem to get things at a younger age than I did. While it may range from a toy or book to a phone, I can relate to how Manasseh might feel being put behind his younger brother, though my story is definitely not that extreme. Although sometimes I feel like I should be the first one for everything, my parents recognize that I am not always the right person for the job. In our family, the order of things is a lot more modern than how it was a long time ago. My parents tried to make everything as fair as possible to all three of us, but sometimes I am given certain privileges because I am older. I recognize all the privileges my family has given me, but I know that there are kids out there who are less fortunate and don't have the privileges I do. For my Mitzvah project, my friend MJ and I are making dolls and donating them to the Bel Air Police Department so that when a child is going through a hard time, they can have a friend with them. Our original goal was to make 20 dolls to donate, but our generous donors have already sponsored over 23 dolls. This doll was the first one I made to donate. All of these dolls were hand-sewn and made with so much love, and I really hope they help kids in need. Today, I'd like to offer a special prayer to God. I hope that in all the years to come, I will remember this lesson of recognizing people's strengths and not just their roles. Thank you also for my mom, who is always ready to lend a helping hand, whether snuggling on the couch together or just talking it out. I love you, Mama. Thank you for my dad, who is always ready to play a game with me in the evenings when my Hebrew practice was done. I love you, Daddy, even if you always beat me. Thank you for my brother and sister, who always make me laugh and haven't tried to trade my birthright for a bowl of stew. Yet. Thank you to Rabbi Lyon, Rabbi Scott, and Rabbi SATALOFF and the whole MBJLC team for preparing me for this special day. Thank you also for my tutor, the wonderful Miss Debbie, who ensured I did an even better job than my dad. Another big thank you is for MJ, my best friend in the world, for doing my Mitzvah project with me and being there for me the entire time. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Lastly, thank you to everyone who came out to celebrate with me today. Shabbat Shalom.
Sierra, it's so easy for me today to say Mazel Tov to you on such a beautiful job that you've done for us from the beginning to this very moment. I think everyone here would agree that your English, Hebrew, your spoken word, and especially your singing words were just magnificent. I could have listened to the Torah all day, and not just because I'm a rabbi, but it was just beautiful. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because a young woman named Sierra, and such a beautiful name it is, really applied herself. You learned well with Debbie, you listened well to your rabbis, and you listened to your own self too to say, wow, this is my bat mitzvah. I gotta do it great. And I know you're proud of yourself today, and you should be. As you appreciated the prayers, the words, the lessons in your Torah, you brought it all together, and we're not surprised. In your own special way, through dance, through classes, through your friendships, you really have come to appreciate the blessings that God has created within you. You take nothing for granted, you appreciate it all, and what's more, you brought it here as a gift to God, to us, an offering, so that we can say, wow, thank you for bringing it all to us. What's more, you really helped to understand for yourself and taught us too about the difference between the blessings that are given to the eldest and to the youngest. You are the eldest in the family, and I think you have led the way as a role model very well today. But it does sometimes bother you, I can tell, as it would anybody who's the eldest in the family, to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm first. Why don't I get it? And why do they get phones at such an early age when I had to wait for mine? I know, I have 4 children and they felt the same way. But Sierra, you're a good soul. You understand the differences, and what's more, you pointed out the difference between ancient times and contemporary times. Indeed, things are different, and how happy we are that they are different. But there's no question that the blessing that God has given you is yours. It is unique. It is special. And whatever your brother and sister grow up to be, you are the only Sierra Little we have, and you are the best that we can imagine. So as you continue to grow to be the young woman that you are, not only will the blessings that we've already observed in you today continue to grow and flourish, but the blessings that are still coming, still within you, ready to bloom and blossom in special ways, we can't wait to see what they will be. So the blessing of Torah, the blessing that will confer upon you today, and the blessings that you've already come to know will continue to grow in ways that we just can't wait to see. But don't rush. Don't rush it, Sierra. We want to give you all the time that you need to become the very special person you have been created to become. Mazel tov to you. And in honor of all that you've done today, we want to give you these special gifts. You have given us so much, so it's a pleasure to give to you a Kiddush cup from the Sisterhood. It's a very special cup that you'll take home and raise at your Sabbath table or other holiday occasions. We have a gift certificate from the Reform Movement for $250. I wish you could spend it on more dolls like this to help more children. But this is for you to use to help pay for a trip to Israel within the Reform Movement in high school or college, to go back to the place where it all began, to learn history and archaeology, a little politics too, that's the Middle East, but also the innovation and ingenuity of Israel that created the technology in your phone, that's given us life-saving remedies and therapies too. And then to come home to Houston, to Congregation Beth Israel, and to help us to continue to grow as a congregation, as a people, and to take your place as a leader, because I see it in you, Sierra. And this is your bat mitzvah certificate. It says Sierra Little was called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah and read Vayechi for all of us to appreciate, to learn from, and to remember this day and for years to come. So now it's my pleasure to invite Rabbi Scott and Rabbi SATALOFF to join us. If you'll turn and face the Holy Ark behind me, it's really a privilege, a joy, to extend to you the blessing of old, that it may go well with you today and for years to come.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light always shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom.
May God grant you, Sierra, all that you may wish for yourself and all that we may wish for you too. May it be long life, mitzvah, and a lifetime of peace.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Mazel tov. And now, as we prepare to return the Torah to the Holy Ark, we open the doors of the Ark and honor William Little and Eliana Little. As we raise the Torah now, we rise. Yahalelu et Shem Adonai ki nizgav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of the Lord, for God's name alone is exalted.
Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha be'oshar deracheha darchei noam v'chol tivoteha shalom hashivenu Yameinu kekedem.
In our prayer book, we turn to the bottom of page 282 and 287 as we join in Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kiguye haratzot, velo samanu kimishbechot adama, shelo samchokenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, Umishachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'yadonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad.
Please remain standing.
We turn now to page 294. And as we do, we call to heart and mind all those who have departed this earth and gone on to the peace of life eternal. On this Shabbat, we are especially thinking of those members of Sierra's family who are here with us today in spirit. Lovingly, we remember Magda Hirsch, Max Hirsch, Marlene Rosen, Marzin Rosen, Sydney Rosen, Michelle Rosen Culver, Ashley William Smith, Muriel Ruth Smith. We join together now in the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon ochei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabban v'varach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'rechu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'imromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all the bereaved among us, as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. Our formal prayers have ended, but our blessings continue. So we invite now Sierra to join me at the lower bima with her parents. They may share some words together.
I'm going to start with the blessing. God grant Janana a strength to make it through this with minimal tears. Sierra, there's been so many times I'm glad you take after Mama instead of me. Stop crying. The two of you have been working hard for the last 2 years on planning everything for today, and I started writing down my thoughts earlier this week. This is the day Mama and I have been thinking about since the day you were born. I might even say dreading a bit, since it's another guidepost on your journey to becoming an adult and leaving us to find your own way. You've been learning Hebrew since 3rd grade, and you've worked hard on your prayers, Torah portion, Devar, and Mitzvah project. We're both so proud of you for everything you've accomplished. Today, you've become a Jewish adult. You're now morally responsible for your own actions and religious observance in the eyes of God. That doesn't mean Mom and I will no longer tell you what we think you need to do. Far from it. But you'll be the one calling the shots. Your mitzvah project is a perfect example. Although Mom and I had several excellent ideas of how to make it easier on you, you had a vision and wanted to see it through, even though it meant more hard work for you. You've never shied away from a challenge or given less than your best, and we hope you'll continue doing that, both in your Judaism and your everyday life. And because it's not a Jewish speech without a reference to the writings of a prophet, I'll leave you with this. To paraphrase that wide Jewish sage, Bob Dylan, how many roads must you walk down before you're called an adult? At least Jewishly, we know the answer to that today. And the rest of your life, you're well on your way. You've put in the hard work and dedication required to stand before your family and friends today as a bat mitzvah, and we're so proud of you. We love you very much. Tough act to follow.
Yeah, thanks. I want you to know I started writing this way back in June in the hopes that if I read through it enough times, clearly that didn't work. Before you were born, when Daddy and I were choosing your Hebrew name, we knew instantly that Sapphira was perfect. It means sapphire or jewel, and from the moment you were born, you were just as beautiful and far more precious than any jewel. Your middle name is Malka, which was your great-grandmother's name, and means queen. And true to your name, you carry yourself like a queen, poised, confident, intelligent, a strong leader, and, well, maybe a little bit bossy. At Passover, as we recount God's many blessings, we say, Dayenu, it would have been enough after each one. Today, we are so grateful for the many, many blessings you have brought us. If you were just kind and helpful, always having a tender heart for those less fortunate, and stepping up to help when needed, even before being asked, it would have been enough. If you were just intelligent and responsible, getting straight A's, practicing your clarinet without being asked, and always looking to challenge yourself to the next level, it would have been enough. If you had just stepped up today to become a bat mitzvah, learning the prayers normally assigned to one child instead of all of those usually done by two, it would have been enough. But you are all those things and so much more. Creative, loving, inquisitive, resilient, a good friend, a wonderful daughter and granddaughter, a great big sister most of the time, and you make us so very proud. We can never know what life will bring, how many future hurricanes or pandemics or epic freezes you will need to face. Though Daddy and I hope the answer is 0, we know that even if it is not, you will rise to the occasion. I want you to look out today at the people who have come to celebrate you. They are your family, your friends, your teachers, your community. They are your strength and your foundation. As you begin to find your place as an adult, I hope you remember the love and pride we all have for you today. As you face life's challenges, we wish for you enough success to make you proud and enough failure to keep you humble. We wish for you enough strength to overcome adversity and enough adversity to make you strong. We wish for you just enough pain to empathize with others and more than enough love to heal that pain. We wish for you family who are also your friends and friends who become like family. We wish for you a community you are proud to serve and who step up in return to help during your times of need. We wish you more happiness than sadness, more health than sickness, and every year at your Thanksgiving table, more friends than chairs. But if these wishes don't come to pass, and you only go out into the world knowing how very loved you are, it will be enough. We love you.
Please stay here at this time. It's an honor to invite Liam and Ellie to join us here on the bima.
Challah and wine so that you may share them with us. Let's rise, and Sierra will lead us in the blessings. There's your. There we go. Beautiful. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. And Challah, Sierra.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Wonderful. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos.